All right.
All right, so I was just gonna, well, I guess first off, I am Mark Moll. I'm your client services advisor here at the Vistage Support Center. So kind of your point of contact for anything and everything Vistage. If you have any non-group meeting related questions, if it's about your profile, your billing, getting up to speed on the website like we're doing here, just anything Vistage related, I am more than happy to help and help you kind of navigate any issue you might have. So always good to see folks live. So great to be with you. I am just going to take you through sort of a day in the life and a run through of my Vistage here. So we'll just pop this open and we'll just kind of start from there. So the first thing we are looking at here is this is from your perspective as a member of CE 5403. So when you log into my Vistage, this is what you're going to see. So first and foremost, the first thing you'll just notice is that we're always going to have your meeting information kind of just front and center here. So you'll see today's meeting information for the Huddle today, October 5th. In the future, you know, if there's anything like a speaker or if this is at a certain location, you'll be able to see address information. You'll be able to see more information on the speaker, more biography information, anything of that nature, just by clicking right into the meeting notice right here. So you can either just click right in on that date or the name of the meeting we're in here today for all the further information on whatever meeting it is. Just above that, we do always have a friendly reminder up here. If you've not completed it already, we're very big on this surveys. So this always comes out that morning of the meeting, and these are always good for Steve, for our speakers when we have them, for Vistage Corporate, just in terms of just getting feedback on everything. We're very big on feedback. So you'll always be able to just click on that banner here when you pop in. This is also very easy to do just from the My Vistage mobile app too. So that's just an FYI for you on the surveys. If you've not completed it, it always sits here for 30 days. So before I start moving left to right up here on the top, just from our groups, networks, people, calendar, I'll pop into just a quick few more things you'll see on the homepage here. So the first you're going to see is going to be the news feed, and that's going to populate any of the member news that we put out there. Like this first one, you'll see our Small Business Confidence Index is a survey we do with all our Vistage members that are eligible for that. And so that one was just done. So if you're also in any networks, new network posts will also apply here. You'll see there's one from the Real Estate Network. I'll do more on the networks in a bit, but one thing I wanted to point out real quick here is you'll see on the right there are trending discussions. And these pull from the different Vistage networks. So if there's something that's new, if it's getting a lot of replies, it's going to populate up here. So you'll see there's one we have right up here for the construction network, the South Network, but those are just hot topics. Again, I'll cover networks in just a moment. The member resources that you'll see just beneath that are different things we have. They're generally more relevant by date, but this is different things we have for you as a member. And one of the things I'll just point out here is number 5 is for the Health Network Foundation. That's a member benefit to you. It's kind of a concierge health service for you, your immediate family. If you have an immediate urgent medical need, either you or an immediate family member can take advantage of our Health Network Foundation benefit. They can help you get expedited access to a specialist. So if you have a big medical need, that's something to consider. So I always want to make sure that I kind of point that out, since I know that's not necessarily kind of a highlight that ever jumps to everyone's top of mind when we're thinking. We'll start just moving left to right here. So the first thing I'm going to jump into is just your group page for CE 5403. Again, the first thing you'll kind of see is that it's going to be primarily just that meeting information. We're going to also give you access to that yellow button here just as a reminder to do the survey again. But the cool thing I like from the group meeting page, you'll be able to see everyone on group. If you want to click on this roster button right here, it's going to give you contact information and just a little bit more biographical information for everybody in the group. And one thing you'll notice here we do have the printable PDF button, and you'll see this on a lot of other different pages on my Vistage here. If you just want to pop this all out, print it into a single document, be able to get everybody's information in one place. If you Similarly, one of the other things you can do here in terms of just looking at that current meeting, if you want to revisit any information, let's say you had a speaker that had some good resources from your last meeting, you'll be able to click into your meetings. From here, you'll be able to go back to any of the previous ones. Some speakers will have materials that are just always going to stay with them then from your previous meeting. Download any of the slides, for example, any of the presentation materials that have available here on the favorite thing we have on the website here for me is the Vistage network. So this is the thing which we just saw on that front page for trending discussions. It's a neat way for you as a member to interact with members you otherwise wouldn't for, let's say, just sake of geography, or perhaps they're a competitive type business, so you would be sitting next to them in your group. So it's primarily forum driven, so it does vary a bit depending upon who's posting, who's commenting, who's sharing or replying to the post. But what we're going to do is take a quick look through all the different ones that we have available. We have over 20 at this point. Some are sorted by industry, like the ones we have here: construction, financial services, manufacturing, etc. There's ones that are affiliation based: entrepreneurs and small business network, family businesses, talent strategies network, so folks in HR or recruiting, that sort of thing. This is obviously more personal interest based, so if you are a big golfer, let's say you travel a lot and you want to reach out to other members when you're traveling, maybe you want to do a round with some other Vistage members, that's most commonly what I think I see people doing in golf network. Geographic network's pretty straightforward. Arizona, we are in the West network. So more often than not, people posting in the West or regional networks, it seems to be more talent oriented. You are looking for, or you have someone to offer of a specific skill type or job opening, let's say. So what I just wanted to show you real quick in a few of these, I'm going to jump to the West network recap. Each of the networks will have a recap post on a rolling basis, and the cool thing about the recap post is it just gives you a place to see all the different topics that folks are talking about at one time. It'll also kind of chime in with other announcements, content, or webinars we have coming up. So real quick, I'm going to scroll down here to the questions from the networks, since the networks are mostly just these types of posts. So if you'll see, just looking at this list right here, so it looks like the top one is just person looking at outsourced third-party repair, maintenance contracts, that sort of thing. It kind of, like I said, really goes across the board. So there's per person here just looking for general input on hiring and their hiring strategies. Looks like somebody down here is maybe writing a book. They're looking for a literary agent. And then someone here is just perhaps looking for local experience on a IT provider like RingCentral just in their area. So this is just a quick view of just some of the different topics that people are talking about in the West network. There's a video overview of the networks here too. Like I said, there's some other items here just from our other networks that are doing meetups or other type virtual events. So that's just a quick peek in for the West network. I also loaded up another quick one here. This is a monthly recap from the Financial Services Network. So same kind of deal. It's going to link you into different content and other network meetups and events and that type of thing. So here again is just a quick look at all the different topics people are taking. People talking about remote work policies, valuation resources, different kinds of accounting support. So really all across the board. And generally we'll have people from Vistage too, just kind of reaching out to the community and help getting feedback on this. So like I said, varies depending upon who's posting, who's commenting. I am always ready to help you find a question. Let's say you're curious about if anybody has ever thrown anything out there to the community before, and you're just curious if somebody else has asked about this already. I'm happy to look. As I said, this is my favorite thing that I have on here. My favorite post that I also have up here is specifically on banana puree. And the reason I'm specifically bringing this one up is just because of the diverse amount of people that chimed in with their input on it. So just from the jump here, you'll see that somebody's asking, does anyone have access to a truckload or more of banana puree? And then we got all sorts of contacts coming in saying, somebody from here in San Diego, they're saying, hey, I've got a person here in San Diego that can provide the bananas if you can puree the bananas. There's a person here saying, hey, I've got contacts for banana paste. Will banana paste work? Got another person down here saying, I've got contacts for banana puree specifically. There's other people that has options for banana puree by the truckload. So it's just kind of a fun one to kind of just show all the different perspectives of people that jumped in. And we really got a lot of comments on this one. But just as kind of an example of the feedback the community can provide on something as simple as banana puree. So don't underestimate the kind of help you might be able to get from the networks. If you are interested in these, please talk to me. If you're interested in posting, I can help you with that. So just my last piece for the network there. It's a great way to get involved on my Vistage. It's a great way to get involved with other members too. So I'll send some follow-up information on that. And again, favorite, very much encourage you to check it out. As we're continuing here, just left to right, the next one I'm going to pop into is our people directory. And this is something that operates more than anything else, kind of like a Vistage white pages for our membership. So it's going to let you search by location. It's going to let you search by industry. There are also more improvements coming to this too. So I think they might even include some filters in the near future for size of company, revenue. So this is driven primarily by the information you provide when you're signing up with Vistage. Anything you include else into your profile is going to help populate in here. If you want to be found or if you want to look for people, it always just behooves you to kind of have more information in your profile as much as possible, because it is also a bit keyword driven. So the last time, for example, I was really helping someone out with this. They were curious about what other Vistage members are out there that are also car wash owners. So car wash franchises, whatever you might have. So this was just someone here that was looking to see who else might be out there in the Vistage membership that is involved with a series of car washes. So for example, we have the Auto Bell Car Wash. We've got Sergeant Clean's Car Wash. We've got the, this one just brought up a AAA search even. I know that we have the Metro Express Car Wash here and Express Car Wash, Zips Car Wash. So as just a small example, this was someone looking for what other car wash members are out there. We've got a lot of those. So if this is something that is of interest to you, like I said, it is in your best interest to include as much information into your profile as possible. And again, we do have different ways to filter through this data and search by industry through location if you're interested in looking. That's a real quick visit into the Vistage people search. Like I said, that is one they're going to continue to improve on and add more. The next one I am going to jump in here are our Vistage events and webinars. So the cool thing about this is it's going to give you both a look at everything that we have coming up. We also do a really incredible job and a great job archiving and packaging everything that we've just had. So if you are, like I said, looking into anything coming up, this will list everything and everything that we have coming up. That's even from our regional events like the Vistage Executive Summit in Charlotte, just to more social type events. This will also include presentations with our sponsors. So UBS is up here. They recently also did a big keynote of us on some financial analysis. So like I said, we do have all of the past events kind of archived and packaged. One of the really good ones that we recently had, and I'm bringing this one up because I know that this tends to be one of the more interesting ones that our members are in. Just had a presentation with ITR Economics. So you can jump into this one just from September 23rd. It's going to include the full presentation. They even do some breakdown by industry presentation. So if you're looking to specifically some more analysis that's a bit more honed in on what your industry is, I know that they did go through some of that in here, but it's also going to include the webinar slides too. So it has presentation, it has all the slides. They are an exclusive partner for us, and this is information that's always kind of changing. So we keep this one up for 30 days. So this is something I'd encourage you to check out if you're into this type of analysis. And, you know, if we don't have something like this just recently behind us, we'll often have, you know, some sort of economic analysis coming up in whatever events we might have coming up in the corner here. So I mentioned that Charlotte VES event that we have coming up. So I'm just going to click into this one just to see who is the keynotes and just to see who we have coming up for this one. So one of the things that's always neat, this one is coming up tomorrow. Not long after, maybe a few days after this event is passed, we're going to have everything from this event up and archived for you to view. So if you don't want to check out something that's a week old at this point, we're having another presentation from an economist with ITR Economics at this event tomorrow. So if you're looking to just kind of see what the latest and greatest this is, there's already going to be something probably just right behind us or something up in the near future. So if the economic analysis type of thing is of interest to you, just know that we're always going to have something that's pretty relevant and pretty timely for you. We did also recently just have, for example, an Orange County VES up here. So that's another thing where you're going to have keynotes and stuff just available to dial up into if you want to check out information on any of the events that we just had. So just an FYI on the calendar here. Yeah, Steve.
And the Arizona event will be March of next year, just for everybody's edification. We'll have a statewide all Vistage member meeting.
Let's see if we can just take a pick at that one. Like we only go up to November at the moment with those, but
right.
I'll make a note of that date when I send a follow-up here, Steve.
Is that in Phoenix, Steve?
I've merely gotten the month, not any of the details, but
Maybe it'll be in Flagstaff or Prescott or something.
Yeah, you know, maybe the lodge at Grand Canyon.
Yeah, or Holbrook. Beautiful Snowflake, Arizona.
As long as it's not Yuma.
Yuma, the Yuma conference.
I got some serious hatred for that city.
You're generous to call it a city. Heyo.
I'm not certain. I don't know if I've seen any information on that one yet or where specifically it is, but I can definitely double check on that.
If they say it's Yuma, just put a complaint in for all of us. Just kidding.
Noted. So that was a quick look at the calendar. So the last one we're going to kind of touch in here is our resource center. The top ones here are part of the recurring research that we do with all of our members, the CEO Confidence Index, the Wall Street Journal Small Business CEO Survey. That's another thing where we're always going to have a lot of infographics. If you like stuff to look at, we're always going to have kind of current analysis and all the information that we do from that available. So you're going to see here, there's just a quick write-up. But if you want to dig into the full analysis, scroll down in here, you're always going to be able to get the full quarterly report. And that's for both the CEO Confidence Index as well as the Wall Street Journal. The Perspectives magazine is something I really enjoy that we put together. It highlights a lot of member stories, and we do a lot of recurring content with different members. This is really something anyone logged into the call here today, there's future potential for you to be in on these too. So if you've not looked at one of these yet, I'd encourage you to do so. It's just a really neat way to see what other members are up to and just see what some of the newer things going on with Vistage is. The podcast is pretty neat. I've listened to a bunch of these at this point, but this typically highlights one different member story, I think, each episode. Those are also with our CEO, Sam Reese, and they're more of an interview kind of style. But the main bulk of what we do is going to be, if you just go here to the research and insights, it'll bring you towards the main research center as a whole. It'll highlight, as you see here, like we just touched on, that most recent survey that we did with the Wall Street Journal and the Small Business Group. But if we're scrolling down here, one of the first things you'll see is one of the areas where we've consolidated a lot of our research. We've consolidated a lot of the relevant network posts for one of the issues that's a lot more prevalent with a lot of our members right now is just dealing with the talent and hiring. So we have the Hiring Resource Center. So I'm just clicking into this here to give you a quick look at that. So like I said, we're kind of sticking all of our information on hiring, on talent into one place. So you can kind of get a quick look at all the different information. So it's going to talk about the webinars that we have. That's the first one kind of at least highlighted here on different members on how they're handling member best practices, or excuse me, hiring best practices. There was a recent CEO conference that we did on people and culture specifically. It's going to have all those different resources that we had from that event. Or content down here. And then when you get down here all the way, it's going to list a bunch of different discussions from the Vistage networks specific to different hiring issues. So this one's going to pull from all different networks. Some of them talk about remote, recruiting, marketing, and dealing with salary increases. So it's a bit of everything. It's drawing from all the different networks. So if this is an issue that's important to you, or perhaps like there's some materials that you might want to print, send along to a colleague or something that is specifically dealing with those types of issues, you can Hiring Resource Center. We did another one of those for inflation too. That one I think is just not as new at this point. But obviously listed down here, it's going to list a lot of the stuff we have coming up. It will list different blog content that we have. So you'll see a bit of everything down here. It's also very keyword searchable. So if you pop up here and just go to the search box, it's going to default to searching our research center. So if you what's coming up with inflation most recently, it should just pop up. Like I said here, the CEO Pulse Inflation Resource Center. What I would love to highlight, since I have heard a lot of great things about her, is this presentation right below it on strategic pricing from Casey. She is an absolute dynamo on this stuff. I have heard lots of members really talk about how awesome she is. Pricing is kind of a unique thing, so I just wanted to mention that since I saw her face pop up here, and she's probably featured in the inflation resource too, but pricing is a unique issue, and I'll link that for everybody here too. But just taking a quick look at the Inflation Resource Center here. Again, it's going to put together a lot of resources we have specific to pricing, specific to inflation, on how that's kind of affecting everything right now. Again, you're going to see lots of different content from our research center. And again, different network conversations, a whole bunch of different networks specific to all sorts of different things, from pay increases, wage inflation, salary trends. So again, that's just an area where we kind of consolidate a lot of that information on a single topic, given how hiring and inflation are both very big topics right now. If you want to just search, this keyword search works great. You can also break things down by category. So there's an awful lot in the research center. So you can either just search by keyword if you'd ever like to see if there's something in there you're curious about. Again, this is something I'm happy to help you kind of search through. One of the last things I'm going to just kind of touch in here quick is more of a housekeeping item. In the upper right-hand corner here, we have what we call your avatar icon. And from there, we're going to have, if you want to, let's say, jump into your Vistage account, if you want to pull invoices, pull receipts from your membership dues for anything like that, if you need to provide those for expense purposes, things like that, you can get all those here. You can make adjustments to your Vistage profile here. You can upload a picture. You can add more information to your biography, things like that, which, like I said earlier, can help you show up in some available to the community at large for just whatever it is. So that's kind of where I'll just quick stop there. I know that kind of cruise through everything in a short amount of time here. So I don't know if we have any questions on any of the stuff that I just covered. So let me know.
So questions for Mark? Tyson?
I have a weird one, Mark, and not that it matters a ton, but I thought I'd just ask. Early on, you were talking about the survey links that stay for 30 days. So, are those surveys anonymous? Are they linked to our accounts? Can Steve tell when I didn't like the sandwiches he served? I mean, you tell me.
If you specifically put in a comment for Steve that said that, then yes. I believe there's one comment in there that one field in there that specifically goes to just HQ only here. So yes, that one is not visible to Steve whatsoever, but yeah, these scores do kind of populate up for Steve's review. And if you had a bad speaker, let's say, and the group had different things to say about that or submitted some average scores, Steve would be able to see that, maybe the group didn't click well with that last speaker, that sort of thing. Some of that information is absolutely visible.
Other questions?
Have you gotten a sense of what people tend to use the networks for? Or do they just tend to use it as a social media platform? Or are they just asking questions? Are they trying to do lead generation? Like, kind of what have you found that most people use them for?
There is some, I guess what you could call lead generation, but the reason I say that is I just had someone asking me for help on how to find somebody else. I think they'd seen them in a network and they had realized that this is a prospect they were pursuing that they also now realize is also a Vistage member. So that's kind of what they were looking in there for, and we connected them up with how to message people with through my Vistage. So you can also, should have mentioned that, but if you do find someone in that people search that you want to connect with, it'll give you their contact information, or there is a messaging function in my Vistage could go in there for. But I know on the regional networks, I kind of mentioned how people will use that to look for talent. That's one of the more frequent ones that the regional groups are kind of used for, are people looking to fill a need or get referrals for openings from other Vistage members. But like with the banana puree one, there are just some goofy one-offs that people throw out there just for input. So it really varies. So one of the other ones that has popped up recently for me, and I noticed it because my wife's company is in SOC 2 automation and compliance. I've seen a few posts from people looking for different vendors for accomplishing different specific business goals. So sometimes if you're looking at, let's say, a software vendor to accomplish X, Y, or Z, you're going to have a bunch of Vistage members that have gone through that same vetting process. They're going to have their own input on maybe what that was like with the vendor or just what issues they've seen since using it. So there's a lot of instances like that where people are just talking about experiences with vendors or looking for suggestions for solutions.
Or could you mention how speakers and surveys are related and how important it is to sort of complete the surveys?
So yes, we've got a lot of Vistage speakers. So that's one of the things that other people like Steve, other chairs in our community will look at those scores, those comments when they're evaluating bringing a different speaker into their group. So the speakers really appreciate it because it's an opportunity for them to understand how they're doing, understand what's hitting and what's missing in their presentations. And the other side of that, it's great for people like Steve to be able to look at when he's trying to understand whether it's going to be worth your time to have that person into.
Thank you. Other questions? No, we had a few people join us. Carla and Joe, looks like you're here. Paul. Any?
Did it look like there was a group messaging feature? Did I see that on my Vistage site?
You did. It's an emailing feature. So if you want to send an email to everyone in your group, it will go ahead and just pop that up for you. It'll populate everybody in the group into the email, and you can send this. They can reply to it there. So it'll throw up this pane for you in my Vistage, but if anybody responds to it, you'll get an email for it. So if you're looking to just do a quick email to the group, you can do that here.
Yeah, and it looks like on the group feed, you can add a post. Did I see that right? Like a discussion topic that's just for our group?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
see that, right?
so if you or Steve, let's say following a meeting, just wanted to put up a post for everybody to review or take a look at for whatever reason, you can do that here. It's going to let you add a picture if you want. You'll be able to put a subject in there, and that will be for you and your group only.
In the same respect, and I don't know if you mentioned this earlier, but is there a capability for group text messaging, or is that something that we're gonna just continue to do on our phones?
There is not currently a sort of messaging feature within my Vistage like I think that you're talking about. So it would still need to be, it sounds like probably a group text.
Okay, and I think I know the answer to this, but just for the sake of hearing it from you, one of the things that I truly appreciate about Vistage and the resource information that we share, the other component that I really like is the idea of sharing the soapbox mentality of being able to speak freely and confidentially. I can't think of the word, but you know what I'm talking about. I'm assuming that this is a safe space where people can share information, share email information that is sensitive just to or private just to our group without being exposed and shared with any other groups or anybody outside of the group?
Correct. So anything that goes in here, if you're in your group, if you're posting here, if you're commenting here, that's for you and your group only. So nobody else outside of the group, outside of that group roster will see anything that you put into this group feed if you're going to post something. In a larger sense, with the networks, it's very much still considered kind of a safe community for you to kind of put whatever you want out there information-wise. One of the more kind of sensitive and difficult topics I saw discussed on the Talent Strategies Network, for example, was a woman who was coming up on doing a very large layoff with her company. So she kind of broached that subject and I guess kind of let the community know she was doing that. And she got some incredible feedback on something she was kind of heartbroken over having to do and how to do it. So people do put some pretty sensitive, big questions out there to the community at large.
So Mark, could you demonstrate how we can send a message through Vistage to a specific member? You just pull one up at random, but one of the things I like about it is that instead of going through normal email or text, it says where it's coming from. So you sort of get that consideration that you're a member of the same organization. We're going to pick on Carla. Here we go.
So we wanted to send Carla a message. We would just go in there, search for Carla, and we would hit this little send message button in the kind of right-hand corner of her banner here. So it's going to pop up what looks like a little instant message thing, and you would just be able to chit chat with each other that way. You would also be able to see Carla's email address right here. So that's
Mark,
how you would go about. So, yeah.
So I'm so sorry to interrupt. Can you send that? Because my follow-up question to Steve's question is, what does it look like when I receive it to ensure that it doesn't look like spam or promotional material that, I mean, I know that it's my Vistage and it comes through and I recognize it, but if my assistant or somebody that's helping, my intern that helps with my email sees it, she might not know to respond or so on and so. So I'm curious to see what it would look like on my end.
Well, we will find out. I just sent you a message on there from me personally. So
I guess I need to sign into it too.
Well, it'll come to your email.
I was gonna say, will it come to my email or will it come to like instant messaging? Excuse me.
I'm not 100%. It might depend on how your notification alerts are set up, but I think you'll receive an email. I have a message to you.
I have not.
Good.
Scroll down just a little bit, Mark. Let's see what email she has in there.
There it is. I think you all heard it.
Okay, perfect.
Oh, I do. Okay, that looks really cool. I like that.
Is it pretty clearly shown as being a My Vistage message?
Yeah, it says Mark Moll sent you a direct message. Yeah, I like it.
Cool.
I approve, Mark. I approve. Not that you needed my approval, but I approve.
It's a really good tool to reach out if you want to meet someone who may not be a member of our group, but is a member of Vistage, whether in Arizona or beyond. And so I know our trusted advisor group does that and sets up conversations and lunches and things like that. Other questions? And I'm going to take it off record for anybody who's shy and didn't want to talk while